Hi Patch, my name is Gavin Markham and today we've got
Brian Kelly,
Jock Penman.
Jock is here representing Solidarity. We've got a wee Solidarity flag in the back there as everybody can see, and tonight we're we're going to be discussing the Tory and Labour Manifesto releases over the last week and certain topics that come up. And so what do you think, Jock? What's been interesting for you over the last week with the manifesto releases?
Well, I think what's been interesting was today. I think Theresa May called the general election really quickly, and it took everybody by surprise. Took all, put all the parties behind the eight ball. But what I think has been revealed today is that she's got her own party, because her own manifesto is dismantling in front of her eyes. I think it's great. The Labour manifesto seems to be popular in England now, which is great. But the Tory manifesto now, I think, is going to open a lot of people's eyes, and it's going to dissolve in front of them.
Correct, I agree with that. And we've got Brian here is going to just go through quickly a couple of the main.
I've had a look on the BBC reporting of the two manifestos, and the Tory manifesto of the BBC say the main phrases from it are forward together, strong and stable, declaration of intent, and Labour, it's a stark choice, rigged against, and it's a fairer Britain. But the Tories have said that they're going to spend an extra £8 billion per year on the NHS. They're going to scrap the triple lock on pensions, which Labour have said that they're going to guarantee. They're going to mean test winter fuel and scrap free lunches for P1 to P3-year-old. That scrap that the Tories are making is going to pay for £4 billion extra school funding, which will be in England, because it's not new money, it's just reapportioning old money, so there'll be no consequentials for Wales or Scotland. They're going to keep net migration below 100k, and they're going to levy firms on non-EU migrant workers. Meanwhile, Labour, they're going to scrap student tuition fees starting for students to start this year. They're going to nationalise 9 water boards in England. Scottish Water is already nationalised, it was never sold off to the private. They're going to introduce a 50p tax rate for those on 123k's and above, and a 45% tax rate, 45p tax rate for those on 80k and above, and said that triple lock guarantee. So
there's been quite a lot there.
Labour are going to spend on 10,000 more policemen and 3,000 more firefighters, and there's going to be a company levy on someone or other. I can't even read my own notes now. And they're going to electrify the rails. They're going to complete rail electrification. So the basic thing that's come out is the Tories are spending more on public services, and Labour are spending much more on public services. Labour have costed their spending. The Conservatives have criticised Labour spending, asking where they're going to get all the money, even though Labour have said where they're going to get the money. And the Conservatives have not costed their manifesto at all. And indeed, today in Wrexham, Theresa May was there with a new soundbite, which I can't remember, I've forgotten already.
Strong and stable?
It'll be different tomorrow.
No, it's a new one today, it's a new one. But basically, she's already turning around on her dementia tax, and it's been watered down according to the Independent.
And basically the dementia tax, as we know it, was basically in England as it was before, if you had assets up to £23,000, you were entitled to free personal care, and the value of your home wasn't included in the assets. But what's changing in England is now that the value of your home will be included in your assets. So basically, to cut a long story short,
it's £100,000.
It's £100,000 that you'll be allowed, including your home. Right, but if you unfortunately get dementia, say for 4 or 5 years, and just say this, it's like 40 grand a year, then it's like 40 grand that's taken off the property value of your home, and you're left with £100,000. That's
So how many homes in
England
Scotland
are worth under
are worth
£100,000.
£100,000? A family home. Now you get flats cheaper than that,
Aye.
but you want to get many family homes
Aye.
cheaper than that.
That's right.
I mean, I come from like Edinburgh originally, right, and if you go there, there's no houses over there worth less than, well, very few worth less than £100,000 now.
Aye.
You'll be lucky to get a house even close to like a 2-bedroom flat or a 2-bedroom house close to £100,000. So basically, the whole population of Edinburgh is going to be, if in the future, if anybody that says in the houses comes down with dementia, they're going to be paying. If that was in England, right, they would be paying like the full whack,
Aye.
and to me that's unacceptable, and I'm really glad that the SNP are in power in Scotland, because people in Scotland are protected because of the SNP being in power. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think it's great that if people actually look at the manifestos, they're going to see the difference between life in Scotland and life in England, and it's been highlighted before, you know, student fees, free prescription charges, things like that, the difference that there is in Scotland and England. And I mean, in Scotland, really, what Solidarity's going for is the party that's most likely to vote for the party that's most likely to take on the Tories. And there's no doubt that in Scotland that is the SNP. That's no question.
Right. And then we've got the dementia tax, which luckily we can try and protect pensioners against in Scotland. But then we've got the policy of the taking away free school meals for the one to primary, one to primary 3.
To get back to fighting Tories, which was the point,
Right.
to follow up on that point. If Scotland votes SNP or Labour or Lib Dem or Green or anything, it won't have any real effect in England. The solution for England lies in England. If the English want a Labour government, they have to vote for a Labour government. If Scotland votes for a Labour government and England doesn't, we won't get it. But if we vote SNP, the SNP, as they say, stronger for Scotland, they will always stand up for Scotland. We've had 50 Labour MPs before down in England, and they were British, and they were Tony Blair, Alistair Darling, Gordon Brown. The feeble 50, and they done nothing because they were all British. And we sent 56 SNP MPs down, and they've gone on for the last 2 years about Scotland, and they've represented Scotland. So if we want Scotland represented, then it's clear that we have to vote SNP. If you are British and you live in Scotland, then you may choose a British party, but you won't get Scotland represented. You'll get a British viewpoint. That's the point. Is that?
I think really this general election is now going to be between the SNP and the Tories. You know, you even have Kezia Dugdale urging people in the borders to vote Tory to keep the SNP out, and I think it's disgusting. Just at this point, disgusting that the SNP and the Tories are saying vote for us to keep the SNP out. That's not a positive reason for anybody voting for a political party. You know, so I think that people really have to vote for the SNP if they want Scotland to have a separate identity. You know, I mean, I'm not an SNP, I'm not an SNP supporter, but I can see that if Scotland wants to remain progressive, then we have to vote SNP, because it's a choice between SNP and the Tories. And how can you vote for the Tories when you see this manifesto that they've brought out?
Correct.
My hopes for a progressive Scotland lie post-independence.
Aye.
Because that's when the chains are off and we can actually really do what we want. Until then, the progressive commitment isn't really going anywhere unless the English decide to push it.
Aye.
And even if they did decide to push it for 5 years, they'll turn around in 5 years' time and turn in the other direction. Or, even with a fixed Parliament Act, after 2 years,
Wow.
turn round, and have another election,
I mean,
he turned back.
he's never going to say it, Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, obviously, most of his policies that when you look at Labour's manifesto, right, for England, you look at it, it's, most of his policies have basically been either taken, stolen, whatever you want to call it, basically for the SNP, you know. And when I looked at Labour's manifesto when it was released, and I've got to admit, I quite liked it. There was a lot of stuff in there that I actually agreed with. But,
Did you believe it though?
well, through what Labour's done to Scotland over the last couple of, like, say, since the Blair years, I find it hard to believe anything that Labour come out with, to tell the truth. My personal opinion, and no, it is hard to believe coming from that perspective. But it looked good, and I hope that the people in England do vote for Labour. Personally,
I think there's a big difference between Jeremy Corbyn and, for instance, David Miliband. You know, the old school, the last Labour government, if you like, they were New Labour. Now what New Labour was all about was they adopted Margaret Thatcher's economic strategy, which was to transfer resources from the manufacturing industries into the service industries, banking, insurance, finance, credit, you know, the services that served us so well in the last 10 years. And that's why people turn against them, you know. But Corbyn's a different kettle of fish. And I really, really hope that people in England do vote for Jeremy Corbyn. I don't think he's going to win. But I think if he gets enough votes and gets enough seats, that the Labour and SNP and Greens possibly, if required, combine, form a progressive alliance and keep the Tories out. I think that'll be the best that we could hope for, and I think it would be. I think it would help.
There's one thing I don't think Jeremy Corbyn will come out and admit it, that
No.
because I think that's what Miliband made the mistake of doing that at the last election, unfortunately, and then the Tories used that as a to play like the sort of anti-Scottish card, and I think personally I think that's what won them the majority of the last election. But this time I think Jeremy Corbyn, I think if the SNP and the Labour do get enough seats, I think possibly as Joke says, I think they would they would form a
I think
progressive
it all
alliance.
comes down to housing.
Aye.
I think that the key thing is housing. Now, Maggie Thatcher started the neoliberal ball rolling
Good point.
by selling council houses to people, making them homeowners, giving them a mortgage, and meaning that they can't go on strike because they've got to pay the mortgage on the house. Whereas before, if they didn't pay the rent, the council had to rehouse them. So the council weren't apt to throw them out of their house unless they really had to. So people could go on strike. So Thatcher sold an ageing housing stock to people who then had to spend a lot of money upgrading their home to make it livable. And then they end up with a massive noose around their neck and they couldn't go on strike. So the way that a progressive party could move forward has to be through building houses. If there is plentiful housing supply, then the house prices are low. But neoliberal economy runs the economy on house prices, so it is pushing up house prices all the time, and that pushed up house prices puts pressure on the workers. It's created the working poor because most of your wages go on housing. So it's created the working poor now. So not only have we got the benefit cheats, which is this terminology we've become used to, we've now got the working poor who are benefit cheats. Again, as they use that. But what it is we've got this housing bubble which will burst, which will drop us in the shit. Just like we did in 2008. Now, in the 70s, we were told mechanisation were going to take jobs away, so we'd end up with a 3-day working week, and that never happened. The jobs still went, but we ended up with neoliberalism, unemployment, with 2 million unemployed, which the neoliberal system demands. We've still got them, largely, but they're not unemployed now because you're not allowed to be unemployed. You can't be unemployed. So they've got people off unemployment, but not properly in the work. They're in 0-hour contracts. They're now all sorts of things. They're the working poor now. They're becoming just as despised, as a drag on the economy, and it all centres around housing.
Right.
Now, the SNP are committed to building 50,000 houses in Scotland. They built, in the last 5 years or something, they built 30,000. They're building another 50,000. But that's only a drop in the ocean. We need a lot more houses built, because all the old houses are falling down.
Right.
But one of the ways that we could increase our housing situation rapidly is by building housing suitable for pensioners, and getting all these pensioners that are in 3-bedroom family homes that they've bought, that they didn't want to gear up, but get them out of them, get them in somewhere better, and get them looked after better, and give them a better offer, and buy those ex-council houses that were for families back into the housing stock as cheaply as we can, but still giving them a fair deal, give the pensioners a fair deal. I mean, it doesn't have to be pensioners. It's like myself and my wife, we're in our 50s, our kid, the daughter's 30, our son's 28, they've left home, we're in a 3-bedroom house. Why? We don't need a 3-bedroom house. But it's a fucking house, we've bought it. Why should we move? Well, give us a better offer. Get us moved to get a young family in here and make this cheap accommodation for them. And that will help with this housing crisis. And then we can turn our back on this neoliberal system and get much more progressive. But just as all the manual labour went to automation, you mentioned the financial services and all that. The accountancy and clerical jobs are becoming computerised. That's robots doing the jobs.
That's right.
So there's going to be less jobs in the future. So we need to look at other ways of developing how we fund our society. But the big people that have to take their share has to be the globalised companies that don't pay any tax under the neoliberal system.
That's right.
They have to pay the tax. They have to pay the tax because there's going to be less wages, because there's going to be less work. So we have to change our system, and we have to up our tax from other, like Shell. They took oil out of the North Sea and we paid them to do it in the sea.
So this is your vision for the future then,
Well, Shell extracted oil in 35 countries around the world, and they paid tax in 34 of them. Guess which one they didn't pay tax in? We paid them to take our oil. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
If you want something that I've got, I'm not paying you to take it off. No chance. If I had toothache, I might pay you to take toothache away. But apart from that, I'm a fifer, you're getting.
That's right, And look at it like another thing that I mentioned earlier was the fact that they're taking, the Tories have announced that they're going to cancel like free school meals and that for primary 1 to 3 and all that. I mean, I think that's an atrocious policy as well. And basically the money is getting reinvested. They say that they're going to increase the school budget, but basically all they're doing is the money that they're saving for the school meals is then getting reinvested in the school. So basically, it's just gone from one place to another. And so it's not really real money. It's or extra money. It's just getting rejigged and basically taking like the school meals away from the kids, which basically I think is atrocious.
But it's taking the school meals away from kids, which was an equalisation measure. It was to give all kids a better start. No matter what their background, give them all the best they start.
And treat them equally, that's the main thing.
It's equalisation.
Equally, aye.
But I gave them a nourishing start to the day as well. I mean, kids will learn better if they're well fed, or if they've got a meal. If they go to school hungry, I mean, education people will tell you this, if they go to school hungry, they're not going to learn, you know.
Well, if you're thinking about food, what are you thinking about?
Well, it's not...
Food.
It's
you're not thinking about...
You're not thinking about your maths or your...
But it's not just that though, it's because you need the food to create, you know, for the protein to keep the brain going. But when kids are going to school hungry, they're falling asleep at lunchtime, they're falling asleep in the afternoon.
It's an energy.
Aye, aye,
You
absolutely.
have to have the energy. to
Aye,
do
like
that.
concentration, their alertness
Aye,
just goes if they're not being fed properly,
Aye.
especially in the morning when everybody knows that they say to you that the most important meal of the day is basically
aye.
your breakfast.
That's right,
You
aye.
know, so
But if,
This reminds me of the days of Thatcher when
aye, but
before Thatcher became Prime Minister, she took away the school milk
aye,
for the kids, you know, and they called her Thatcher the milk
Milk
snatcher.
snatcher.
This is exactly the same kind of thing, you know, it just shows you how mercenary the Tories are.
it's a progressive message that's been rolled back by Tories.
Aye, aye,
aye,
That's what it is, but it's an equalisation, so all kids have got a fair start.
aye,
You can't complain about generational unemployment, drug taking, and being a failure and burden on society
Mm.
if you don't give the kids the best start to equalise what the chances are
Correct.
right at the
Aye.
start.
correct.
And that's what's happening. That's getting
And
the
then-
gains that have been made are getting rolled back.
And the one thing about it is, unfortunately, that's the word that I think that you have to use with this policy. Unfortunately, the Tories are proposing to roll that out in England, and again, we've got the SNP in Scotland protecting the free school meals to the kids,
Yeah.
and that's the difference, and that's why we need a strong SNP going down to Westminster and protecting
But
Scotland's rights.
how long can they protect it when the consequentials are negative consequentials?
That's a good question,
If
right.
the English don't spend it, we can have it.
Good question, right?
we need independence, as simple as that.
Aye.
But
I think we're all agreed on that. You're not getting that. So far as grasp,
that's it,
I
that's it.
patch in favour of independence.
Aye, Patch,
That's it.
exclusive.
That shows you why we do need independence, though, you know, to protect our kids and our,
Aye.
you know, to the
Because
people in
Because
Scotland.
they do things differently. That's it.
Aye.
I mean, we're like fed up of the Tory government went aye, blah, 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 and that's it. Protect us. That's it. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we've had a really informative discussion there, and I'd like to thank Joke for coming along. I
Thanks
hope he-
very much, guys.
I hope he joins us again in the future.
Oh, I'll be brilliant.
And Brian as well. Thank you very much. That was really informative as well. And thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Bye bye.
Oh, that's
Thanks
brilliant.
very much. Enjoyed that. That was a good discussion.